All right, we're here for our final feature match for week two here in Aetherdrift League. We got a couple of league veterans here. Tony G, who's a former league winner from back in Innistrad and I believe Midnight Hunt or sometime around then.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
Up against Christopher G Oompa Loompa, who is he's a many time top eighter. He just recently made top eight in Pioneer Masters. So we got two veterans here. What's Christopher got over there?
It's a pretty nice looking hand. He's got Ranger's Refueler for turn two. He's got Keen Buccaneer. He's got Jade Light Spelunker from Ixalan, so
Ooh,
that's kind of a nice one.
is that the Explorer
The
X?
Explorer X, yep.
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, looks like he might play the Market Back Walker this turn though.
Yeah,
For one.
sometimes you just play your Market Back Walker and try and trade it off for a card, but it's not really ever what you would want to do on turn two most of the time. Okay, he's just gonna play it here. Unfortunately, he won't be able to trade off because of this Beast Rider Vanguard that's coming down. So, also in Tony's hand, we have a Hazard of the Dunes and a Wreckage Rickerfolk and three lands of green and black mana. So,
That sounds pretty monstrous.
yeah, looks like just good call, like just good commons. Like these are just solid cards. Um, yeah, so Tony, looking at the standings, he's at 6-3, so off to a pretty decent start. Christopher's on 4-5, so a bit of a slower start. But one thing I always, and I say this like every league, Christopher G, he like sneaks up at the end. Like he's like in the middle of the standings, and suddenly week 5 and 6, he's suddenly like in contention. He goes on these runs towards the end of league. So when I see him at 4-5, I'm expecting him to move up significantly. You know, maybe a little bit later in the league.
Yeah, I'm sure he's hoping to win today.
Oh, absolutely.
He did just draw a spectacular pile up, which is the raft for the current set. So that might be coming out
Yeah, he can
this
just
turn.
yeah, he can just sort of sit back and let Tony put more stuff into play.
Yeah.
So you know, if I'm Tony, I don't know if Tony's predisposed to looking at people's having people's pools open, but definitely if he is, he will have seen the spectacular pileup and might decide to act accordingly. But is just probably likely to play this hazard. Interesting that he didn't attack with the hazard of the dunes. He's thinking about just playing another one. Yeah, he's gonna get.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
this is
Yeah,
not
because
gonna work out to his advantage, or he's gonna be left with just a wreckage wicker folk.
it's like he's been holding the planes in hand, trying to like keep it low key.
Yeah, and he didn't really do anything weird that would like suggest that he might have a board wipe. Like sometimes like they don't play anything for like 2 turns. They make weird block. They make like weird chump blocks and stuff. And you can sort of start wondering if that's going to happen. But here there was not really any indication, honestly.
No, it was tough to kind of scope that out from Tony's side.
Mm. Yeah, it was pretty well hidden there, I would say. Yeah, Tony's talking about he perhaps overextended a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, just sent the
understandable.
out there.
And now basically Tony's played out his hand here. He does have an Earth Rumbler and a Defend the Rider on top, so those could be useful. What does Christopher have left over here?
Earthworm was not bad. Chris does have a Flood the Engines in his hand now, though, so that
Okay.
might be an answer for that.
Yeah, that's gonna hit that Earth Rumbler. Oh.
And also Parity Circle.
So this
Been a while
is
since
this is one of those
seen
funny little cards that ended up on our bonus sheets here. And he just got a card off of casting Flood the Engines. Like what?
a pretty cool synergy there.
Yeah, so notably this will work with crewing of vehicles
Yeah,
and mounting or saddling the mounts. Also, I mean, you could just pay 5 mana to tap something without flying, but that's like woefully inefficient.
that's actually really cool. That works with crewing and stuff.
I mean, whoever came up with the idea for that card definitely had that in mind, I would say. I think they identified that creatures were just going to get tapped all the time to crew vehicles. Yeah, he's reading it. He's saying, "Oh, I don't really like what this is, is telling me it's going to do." Because he could just activate the Earth Rumbler. He could just get tapped for 5 mana here.
Yeah, it's really nice because you can also still just activate Scurryfoot and make it 3/3 if they decide not to attack.
Yeah, so Tony does have to defend the rider, but that's just going to really only do that once, right? Like he's going to get a one time reprieve from getting tapped here for 5 mana. And I yeah, he says I'm going to tap it. Yeah, I mean,
Comes the tap.
I don't know if maybe he thought this was telegraphed, just
Ooh.
because why would he attack? Why would he animate it with that ability open on the board? But now he's basically going to have to find an answer or dedicate 5 mana to tapping it every turn.
Yeah, that was a pretty clutch hexproof there.
Yeah, I mean, he kept both on top, and it worked out for him. I mean, obviously, he would want both. So yeah, so Chris definitely is the control or slower player in this matchup here. Tony is, as they say, he is the beatdown, or is
Yeah, it's
trying to be.
crazy. He got his board wiped and he's still the aggressor here.
All right, so he's found another Earth Rumbler off the top. He is going to run out of things to crew them with two of them. He said, "I'm not even going to bother this turn. I'm going to wait till I have two of them." Yeah, but I mean, Chris did not have wasted mana here because he gets to exhaust. So just pretty nice sequencing here from Chris to gain the most out of his cards here. Tony has a couple of Earth Rumblers that can only be activated a couple times.
It's tough because, yeah, on Chris's side, you can't really play any creatures while also keeping up the tap. So these double Earth Rumblers are kind of a menace.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. They are going to run out of fuel, but will it be before he's able to get the damage in to win? So what does Chris have any like viable options other than spending 5 mana to tap down Earth Rumbler?
Well, like, yeah, like he either has to pay the 5 to tap something down, but he also needs more creatures to block the second one too, because right now, even the 5 power on board is enough to block one of them.
Yeah, by my count, there's three things to in the graveyard to exile. I believe he's running a
Luckily,
Beast Rider Vanguard, which is a nice place to dump his mana here potentially.
yeah, he's opting not to play a creature, just hold a tap up. Maybe he's hoping to have him run out of gas for the vehicles.
I mean, you could crew the Earth Rumbler with with the Beast Rider and the Wicker Folk, but there's a problem with that, which is that your opponent draws two cards if you do that.
Yeah,
So that's we'll say mildly problematic. You don't really want to be crewing vehicles with two creatures. Maybe one, but not two. So it's like a double chump here, just to take as little damage as possible.
reduce the damage.
Yeah, but now there's only one. There's only. Oh, he did not play the Beast Rider. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Wonder why he
Well, he
kept
drew.
it in hand. I'm sure he has good reason.
He
But
also drew an Autarch Mammoth, which makes a 3/3 when it enters. So yeah,
feel
that
like
looks
when
like
your opponent's at two, you want to play a 2/2.
yeah. A little surprised by that one.
But I think should be able to. He has one more thing to. So he's going to have 14 power trample attacking with only
Yes.
8 toughness on the other side.
Yeah, I see. I think he just might have it here if you just place the creature, cruise, and then if does he have another creature in the graveyard?
I believe he has one more thing in the graveyard. So he's going to have to give his opponent two cards here, but unless one of those cards is a bounce off, this is going to work out
Yeah.
for Tony here. So fighting through the board wipe, fighting through the Verity Circle, but just got enough damage in and found two Earth Rumblers kind of back to back here.
No bounce off.
All right, well, yeah, it looked like Christopher was, setting up his card advantage here, but it's not going to be enough. We go rumbling in for the victory here for Tony.
Oh, fighting for the board wipe. GG's.
Yeah. So it looks like he has two blue cards from what I can tell, which are two copies of Stock Up. That's just to refill his hand. Otherwise, he's got a nice little green black deck here with a lot of things to do on turn two, which is
I definitely would
pretty
splash for
nice.
stack up for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
it's just good. Like it's just really really strong.
oh my goodness, there's three spectacular pileups in Chris's board.
Man, he just loves gigantic car accidents. Wow. Okay. I guess we're
Crazy.
finding out more about him as we go along. He is fascinated by large automobile accidents.
I mean, if that wins games of Magic, have accidents all the
Three,
time.
yeah. I one time had two board wipes in the deck of the same board wipe. Yeah, they don't play around the second one.
Especially not the third.
No. Oh, he also has. Oh, I see now that he expanded his deck down to the bottom of the two drops. He's also splashing for this two drop Sita Varma, the Masked Racer. So
Yeah, it's a good one.
kind of a late game card that can go over the top.
It looks like a. Oh, they actually also have clay fired bricks as the other white card in their deck, along with Guide Light Pathmaker. Otherwise, it just looks like a very nice green blue exhaust kind of deck going on.
Just casually with three triple white cards. It worked. If it works, it
And you
works.
got, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
It almost worked that game.
Oh, it looks like he's boarding in a ether siphon, even though it's like his splash color. But he's maybe envisioning, based on what he saw, it looks like Christopher wants the game to go long.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's like it's a good way to kind of catch back up after
Yeah,
losing all your creatures.
with his mana base, it's going to be pretty hard to cast. But I guess he figures the game is going to go long enough that that's fine. Yeah, so very very interesting game there. Got to see a Verity Circle. I was not expecting to see one of those in play. I mean, I think I spotted it. I saw it was on the bonus sheet, but seeing it in play,
Yeah,
not bad.
yeah, that's a nice throwback card for sure.
Yeah, because in its Ravnica set, it just wasn't like there wasn't anything tapping stuff. There wasn't like some ability that tapped creatures that made that card like stand out. It was
Like,
just kind of
well,
bad.
yeah,
But now we have basically built-in mechanics that are just telling you tap your creatures all the time.
yeah. I wonder if we'll see it again this game.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a very cool card. Fortunately, Tony got in just enough damage before the board wipe and found the tramplers that he was able to fight through it. And a mulligan here. Mulligan's the one lander. What's Chris
Yeah,
got to
so
run?
a bit of a slow one, but he has a Waterwind Scout on turn three. Otherwise, just three islands in hand and Flood the Edgens and two other green cards.
Okay,
So
so he's gonna lean heavy on that nap token possibly.
he did find the forest here. So hand smoothing out a lot now.
All right, yeah, not too much going on here for. I was about to say not too much going on, but he's trying to stock up. So he's got Veloheart Bike and Zagoth Crystal, both of which are mana rocks and two forests. But he did draw stock up, so that'll be nice. He'll find some action.
Oh yeah.
This is just the best divination ever.
The Untethered Express might be coming down. No, he chose
Oh,
to go for the Wanderer, which makes sense because he has an Autarch Mammoth in hand, so he was going to play that next turn.
yeah, it's a nice one. A bit of a relic from the past here. 4 mana 3/2 that goes and gets a land. There was in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, there was an uncommon that did that, an artifact. But yeah, a little small body even for the nice effect of getting a land.
Hmm.
Like still potentially trades with a two drop here. Interesting that he's trading off the flyer rather than the 3/2. Do is there any insight based on
Yeah,
the cards
maybe
in his
just
hand?
not. Oh, if he well, I guess it's just he values the power. Maybe otherwise, I don't see it too much of a difference
Okay.
because he does have the Autarch Mammoth in hand, so it does make saddling that a little easier.
Yeah, the 2/2. Yeah, the 2/2 helps with speed, but didn't look to be a speed deck really.
And much of speed starting your engines in the deck now.
Yeah. So he's decided to get the Beast Rider Vanguard and that Ether Siphon, which he could cast by playing the Zagoth Crystal because it's a taps for green, black, or blue. Also cycles.
All right, yeah, no, he's just gonna slam the mammoth. Let's then go.
Yeah, no interaction whatsoever here for this mammoth. So there's trouble a brewing here.
And it's gonna be tough if he doesn't have an answer for this soon.
Yeah, he's just taking a lot here. He's just basically taking 8, unless Chris can't crew with something else or saddle.
Yeah, no other creature in hand, no. So if he
Okay.
wants to get that 3/3, he'll have to tattle both creatures here.
Yeah, Untethered Express is another insane rate on a vehicle.
That is another classic. That's won many Kaladesh games.
Yeah, that card is absolutely out of control. That could have easily been a rare. All right, he's drawn Corpse Churn, which is not very useful. It's like mill 3 cards and then bring back a creature to your hand from your graveyard. Yeah, this game looks to be pretty much kind of done. Like
Yeah, this is no threat here. It's just gonna be really quick.
he's got, unfortunately, absolutely nothing going on, and there's going to be a lot of power coming his way.
Yeah, just drew a Scurryfoot.
Well, the Scurryfoot like basically saddles the mammoth on its own. It creates
Yeah.
5 power.
Oh my god, I forgot this only was crew one. This card is so gross.
Yeah, crew 1, trample, +1 counter when it attacks. It's very silly. He didn't even saddle the mammoth. He said, "Let's just get you
Battle
dead
this.
here."
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is yeah. I mean, he gets to look at the top 3. He sees a land and 2 removals go to the bottom.
The
Yeah,
awkward moment with Vanguard.
yeah, that was my experience at the pre-release. So I had an opponent play it and just drew a creature every turn with it for like 4 turns in a row. Then I played it. I spent 10 mana. I drew 2 lands and put 3 removal spells on the bottom of my
Fakes. Yeah,
deck. Turns out the card is like just good, like just period. It's just a good card. But sometimes you're paying 5 mana and it's losing you the game because you can't do anything.
not when you need an answer for a mammoth.
All right, he was about to scoop, but he said, "Let me see one more card here." But no,
Understandable.
I didn't see any board wipes in his deck. So yeah, no board wipes up there. His top end is he doesn't have too many expensive cards, but they are just big green things, as we saw in the first game.
Yeah, just like any other creatures that game might have put a little bit of a slowdown on Chris's momentum.
Yeah, that just spiraled pretty fast.
And he's taking out couple Sky Streak engineers, it seems, opting in for some more venomous Legax.
Yeah, I think that's sort of better against Tony. Tony's just playing ground creatures and attacking. You'd rather have a 2/1 death touch, especially if you're
On the draw,
on the
yeah.
draw here. Tony has like a lot of things to do on turn 2 and 3, so he should be playing things, and some of them can attack past a 1/3. So putting in a death touch, I kind of just feel like that you just want to play those death touchers like all the time if you're green.
Yeah. No, they're really good at. They're also really good at attacking when they need to because of the mount, but also they're just great at defending.
Yeah, good with run over as well
Oh, for sure.
because it's 1 mana always.
Kill anything basically.
Yeah, it's just a 1 mana kill spell.
Unfortunately, I actually don't think I see a run over in Chris's pool.
Hmm. Well, we saw a run over in that game for Tony. It just went to the bottom of the deck with his Beast Rider. So we saw it for a brief moment, and then no more. anymore. I guess he's still Tony submitted his deck, but I guess Chris is still
Yeah,
weighing his
must be
options here.
still kind of contemplating. It looks like his options. Nothing specific yet though. Maybe taking out Ticket Tortoise.
Yeah, ticket orders. It's such a weird stat line, right? Like I get it, it accrues vehicles, but like in order to get the treasure, you have to play it off curve and like just yeah.
Yeah, it's better on the draw because then you can kind of like manipulate it into guaranteeing the treasure. But yeah, it's a little awkward because you have to play off curve.
Yeah, the payoff is not worth what you're getting for that card. If you're a dedicated artifacts deck, maybe you need it, but
And we took it out.
yeah, it's just not. I feel like in week one, if you want to maybe try and play a two-color deck, you end up playing a ticket tortoise or two just to make playables, but I don't think that's an issue for him.
Yeah, he brought in a Tezzeret's Ambition, I think it was, to
Oh,
draw
okay.
three card, I believe. So
I believe it's 5 mana, draw three, and then discard one unless you control an artifact. I believe.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what we paid for
Oh, it
draw
was in his
three
opening
stack
hand.
then.
That was exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Ooh, an Elvish Archivist too.
Oh, that's a fun one.
In this set, yeah, I can get big really quick.
Yeah, so it's draw a card for an enchantment, two counters for an artifact.
Right.
It's once a turn for both. Yeah. What else has he got over there?
Yeah, so he just drew a Legak, which looks like he's playing that against
Okay.
it, the C2 Varma, which makes sense, I think.
Oh yeah.
Got Verity Circle, Market Back Walker, his own C2 Varma, and Pathmaker on the
Yeah.
top end.
So we got an issue here, which is I just see lands in hand,
Oof.
just forests, two swamps. So he kept the two drop, and five lands, which is understandable, but it just looks like he's not getting there. And we got the opposite problem on the other side here. So
Yeah.
we got four lands in hand. So he drew another land. This is the race. It's the classic race here: flood versus screw, right?
Hmm.
But the
At least
thing
the Vanguard
is, yeah.
kind of, yeah.
But the thing is, this is in Chris's favor because once he gets lands, he's able to play all the spells in his hand. Tony has to draw like a spell each turn to not completely fall out of this.
Right.
And
Yeah.
land number 9 has showed up here.
Yikes.
So unfortunately, amassing like almost like more than a third of the lands in his deck already.
That's so brutal, especially against this Verity Circle draw.
Yeah, and you get to draw a card because it's an enchantment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, at least he gets to do this. Let's see. Okay. I mean,
I think,
he got a crystal,
ugh.
which he can
I hate,
cycle. Yeah, he did have to put risky shortcut on the bottom, which would have been really really helpful here. Just the draw to lose to.
hmm. Okay, Hazard's something.
Yeah, he's drawn the hazard here, so what are Chris's options? Because he definitely has more options than his opponent.
He drew a Migraine Ketradon, which he'll hopefully play that soon. He has a spectacular pileup in hand. No white sources though.
Okay, so we're not in danger of a pileup just yet. But
Right.
Tony effectively does not have any attacks, and he's drawn another land here. He did draw an ooze patrol, which is not looking like it's going to be too big right now on its face. There's only one
First.
card in the graveyard that triggers it. Yeah, Chris just says I'll draw cards. I mean, Chris must be like a little scared just because of all the mana here, but you never assume your opponent has only lands in hand.
Yeah, if Chris was receptive, he must be just thinking like, what is going on, you
Wow,
know?
two more lands are going on the bottom now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there was two more lands among the next three cards in the deck.
Drew a Waterwind Scout and a land.
Yeah, and Tony's thinking about possibly setting an upkeep stop here to surveil, because like if he draws one or two more lands, like I don't see how he can win. It's going to be very very hard. Okay, he's drawn a Siphon Fuel, which can do something. But this Lagak just sitting there since turn two has just stopped everything.
Yeah, this game's been like on a haul for so long, and I think that just favors Chris in the long run here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he has more things to do, and he has source. He has like three cards in play that say draw a card on them, right? So they all
Yeah,
have ways
still
to
got
draw
to
a
draw
card.
3 in hand.
All right, he says, "Time to attack. I can make a 7/7." And Chris says, "Well, this is why I play the 2/1 Death Touch." See, imagine if that 2/1 Death Touch was like the 1/3 Sky Streak flyer that he took out. That would
Yeah,
have
it would have
been.
been pathetic against the hazard there. Couldn't even attack into it.
Yeah, so Tony, I guess, is going to go for a Siphon Fuel here since he didn't play the Ooze Patrol. The one upside of all these lands is that his Seat of Arma can make things very large at some point.
That is a problem now, because what, that's like 5 counters now, it looks like?
I believe it's, yeah. Yeah, so notably it does not give trample or anything, but it's still quite the attack that he might be able to have.
That's
So he's going to Siphon Fuel here on the 6/6, and he might go for an attack now that there's no more big creatures in play. Yeah, he said I'm gonna give everything +7 or +5 here.
yeah, no good attack, no good block here, really.
Oh no, it will be +7, right? Because it's equal to Sita's power.
Yeah, so they all become 7/7s, I believe.
Yeah,
Which looks like he's just gonna chump with the card that says draw a card.
I mean, I would too. I mean, based on these blocks, he doesn't have to pump it up to its full power. He can pump it up slightly and then play Ooze Patrol. Yeah, looks like that's what he's doing.
For that. Yep.
Play Ooze Patrol. So it's right now it's going to be a 4/4 plus whatever else gets milled. So 5/5. Yeah, okay.
Not bad.
I mean, Chris is leaning heavy on trying to cast this pile up here, I would imagine.
Yeah, he still needs to find that other white source.
Maybe he can go get an artifact that helps him do that.
Yeah, he can get the clarified bricks.
Well, there you go.
That being said, like uh, his board actually looks pretty good against Tony's right now, to be
Yeah, he
honest.
doesn't necessarily have to fire off the board wipe.
It is a nice little just in case measure, but yeah, no, it has good stats against what Tony's doing.
Yeah, so Tony's drawn another Beast Rider Vanguard, but like for now, he could just activate the one that's in play. Yeah, he's just gonna pass. He's just gonna activate twice, I guess.
Try to catch up in value, yeah.
I mean, gonna be hard to catch up, but on value. But he's gonna at least keep himself in this game by drawing spells rather than the lands like he's been doing.
Yeah, it's been brutal.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's how the game goes, right? Like that's the mana system, but the mana system is also what makes Magic like the best game. Like this is we come back to this game even when it betrays us. Uh,
Oh, sir.
yeah, so he saw three pretty decent creatures there, took the
Ooh.
mammoth,
Yeah, man, it's a good hit.
and now he sees interesting one here, not one you see very often. Bontu the
Two.
Glorified.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it sacks creatures to drain, I believe, and then it can't attack or block unless you had a creature of yours die. So pretty cool, but I don't know if it's going to be a huge impact here.
It, not many creatures you want to actively sack here.
Yeah, definitely not.
The Aether Siphon's gonna probably help you out too, though.
Yeah, Ether Siphon could be of use. All right, it's tapping the Bontu, even though it can't do anything. But you know, he says, "Let me draw a card here." Yeah, just look how many cards were up here on Chris's side. Of note,
Drew.
Bontu will not survive a pileup.
Yeah, loses indestructible. That's true.
So if If it's the Wrath of God, it could survive. If it's the Day of Judgment, it could survive. But apparently, if you get in a huge car accident, the gods no longer survive. Okay,
All
this
right.
this this says spectacular pile up to me.
I mean, he can also activate C2 here, right?
Oh, right, that's true also. But
Because, like, yeah, he has a good attack here with that. Oh,
I think Tony knows what's up.
chose not to. All right.
I
So just gonna A fire it off then.
I think Tony. I mean, if he's looked at the pool, he knows there's multiple of them. But even if not, he knows that his opponent has many cards up on him. Good chance there's a board wipe. We'll see. But board certainly got cleaned up a little bit.
It looks like he might fire the Flood the engines on the Vanguard.
Okay. Well, there's a backup Vanguard in hand here, so he'll at least have that. So the black side of Clayfire Bricks, I believe it's like an anthem, and it gives you two 1/1s. I think,
And +1/+1, yeah.
yeah, +1/+1 to all your creatures, and it gives you two 1/1s, if I recall, or gives you a 1/1.
I think it's
Okay.
two gnomes.
Yeah, look at this. This is nasty.
Such cool synergy.
He just drew two cards from his removal spell. I want my removal spells to draw two cards. Can you teach me how to turn my removal spells into divinations?
Gotta open up the bomb rares from Ravnica, it seems.
Yeah, the bomb Verity Circle. I mean, look, it fits well. Like that's a card that requires a lot of work. First of all, like if you're putting it in your deck, you are building a deck to make it work, which is difficult. So when it works, it works.
He's doing a good job making it work though.
Yeah, so we see
Um,
a Wander in Death here, which is a cycling card, but it's just a sorcery that brings back two creatures to your hand from the graveyard and can be
mm.
cycled.
Yeah, notably, Chris didn't oh, that's right, his blue is tied up, so he couldn't commit anything else really.
Yeah, he only had one blue mana to use that turn.
Yeah, his hand's actually mostly blue cards, so it's been a little rough in that regard.
Yeah, I mean he's down to 11, but he does have the buyout here that we know
Yeah, we
about.
might actually see that coming up here. One Vanguard might be enough for him to pull the trigger.
Yeah, like when I saw this Beast Rider card, I was like, in the mindset of like the last few limited formats, I'm like, this card can't be good. Like if you're activating this, you're probably actively losing the game because you're so far behind. But turns out, kind of like a couple of the other cards I've talked about, when the format is slow, this cards like this actually have a lot of value. The Beast Rider has been a big surprise, I would say, to most people.
Hmm. Yeah, it's been very clutch in terms of just make your opponent have to answer a 2/2, otherwise you just run away with value.
Yeah, there was like a somewhat similar card in Foundations, the white 4-drop. I think it was called Squad Rallier. Uh,
Yeah, that was a good one.
so it cost less mana to use only three, and it got you only, I believe, three mana value or less creatures, or three power or less.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like he fired off the board wipe here. It's like,
Yeah,
all right, time to get away with
I
this.
mean, Bontu is a way to like steal this game, I would say. But Tony's got a lot going on. He's got his Wander in Death, which can get back two creatures. He's got a Mammoth here.
Yeah, honestly, he played pretty well into navigating around the board wipe that he figured was in hand.
Yeah, I mean, once you see the board wipe, you play as if opponent has it, basically, or you try and do that.
Yeah. Now I could flood the board back out with this mammoth.
Yeah, he's got the Gas Guzzler too if he wants, and he has Defend the Rider as well. Okay, so he's just gonna leave up like draw a card and have Defend the Rider as an option.
Oh no, he drew another board wipe.
Okay, well, goodbye to these three creatures. All right, this is getting into potentially memorable moment territory here for how many board wipes can we see cast in one game.
Yeah, it feels like at this rate, we might see a third one, depending on how the game pans out here.
And that's brutal. Like like Tony is like, okay, might have Might have a board wipe. Let me not play too much. Let me activate my Beast Rider, get some cards in hand, prepare for the turn after the board wipe. He did exactly that plan, played out two creatures, three bodies, and then poof.
So, I mean, what can you do when your opponent has three in their deck?
He walked out of a giant pileup just to find himself in another one. It's a bad day on the road here.
Yeah, it's a bad day on the racetrack.
Absolutely. Yeah, so again, more creatures in hand here, but not quite as good as the mammoth that he had before.
Yeah, so just an Untethered Express in hand for Chris, Ranger's Refueler, and the Tezzeret's Ambition, which has been there basically the whole game.
I mean, at some point he'll have a window to cast it. He's played the game to make sure of that, right?
Yeah,
Like he's the control player here, absolutely 100%. Even though he had a bit of an aggro in that second game. Yeah, so he's getting back Seat of Varma, and he could just replay his stuff. He has so many lands, like that he can just replay basically whatever he needs to or wants to here.
I mean, that was a pretty good spell there.
Yeah, so I think if he had tapped differently, he would have been able to keep to play Seat of Varma and keep up defend the rider. But since he can't, based on the way it tapped, he's just going to
Ah,
be casting this Wicker Folk, and he sees a Gaunty and a Runover. So two cards that should be of some use.
ooh, yeah, well, sounds like it's getting spicy over there still.
Yeah, he's
All right,
finding some good stuff here,
just drew a Flood the Engines.
and that's going to tap something
Another draw.
and draw a card. Yeah, sounds good.
Man, Flood the Engines is such a wonderful draw at this point in the stage when you have Verdi Circle up.
Oh yeah, I mean, Flood the Engine's just good, period. But now it's busted. Right? Like we don't get removals that draw a card basically ever nowadays.
All right, looks like he's gonna get that Anthem, get some Gnome soldiers.
He has to craft with an artifact in the graveyard. Yeah, okay, seems doable. Yeah, everything's +1/+1. Interesting that no. I guess he can play it after combat, but the Flood the Engines.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's thinking about just using the Circle ability this coming turn.
Yeah,
Keep the
that's
Flood
fair.
Engines just in case.
Does he have instants to hold up or no?
No, just
Okay. Not sure why Tony's
yeah,
thinking of blocking. Doesn't.
yeah, I'm curious, does he have any reach or flying in hand?
Nope.
This 3/3 flyer does get it's gonna put some damage in over the course of a few turns.
Yeah, and he does have a run over 2 cards deep in his deck. So that's his answer to the 3/3 flyer. But he is going to be able to. I mean, I don't know what all is in Chris's hand if he has counter spells or instant speed interaction, but Gonti's
Yeah,
going to be
no
able to come
interaction.
down and get a card off the deck. It looks like because of the Wicker Folk.
Yeah, the very circle can't tap it, I think, right? Because that it
No,
can't tap flyers.
if you want to be
That's
in the
relevant.
circle, you can't. The flyers can just fly over the circle. They just laugh at the circle. But if you're on the ground, you can get trapped in it. Tony's just wondering how can my opponent get one over on me now? Is it safe to play the Gonti and try and draw a card? Yeah, very fun game so far. Especially with those with the board wipe hanging over the game and him finding a second one. So
Very, yeah, it's provided a lot
very
of
good.
interesting tension up to this point. Yeah, imagine Tony's just playing it very carefully here and trying to see
Yeah,
how best to navigate this.
yeah. He might be checking out opponent's pool to see what kind of stuff may be there at instant speed. how badly can it go for him if opponent does have instant speed stuff. But I think playing the Gonti is the correct step here because this kind
Here,
of punishes leaving a Verity Circle because the Wicker Folk has flying, and he's still kind of priced into using the Verity Circle as well.
ooh, Guardian too.
Yeah, he's got Seed of
Second
Varma still in
trample.
hand, Gas Guzzler, and Defend the Rider, which we saw play a very big role in Tony's win in the first game. I think he's hoping to leverage it potentially to victory once again. Oh, I think he's going to use it right now. Yeah. Yeah. He said, I'm going to do this. Let me just attack all potentially. Yeah.
Pretty good attack now.
Yeah. So Chris needs his his third board wipe here. He will need it. He says, let me give trample here. Let me give trample there. Let me see 3 cards from your deck, please.
Yeah, at that point, it might have been better to just double block to 3/3.
Yeah, so this early flood for Tony basically allowed him to now draw spells. Basically, wow, there's 3 lands off the top of Chris's deck. Tony absolutely
Oh,
hates to see that.
that's really good news for Chris though, but he has to be wary of what those cards could be.
Oh yeah, you have to play as if they're bombs, but they are. There's nothing going on.
Stock up.
Okay.
Are we gonna see the third? Oh, he hit the pile up.
Uh oh.
Oh, that's so bad for
I'd be
Tony.
losing my mind if I was Tony here.
Oh, and it's like just 4 other spells, like anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You got the pile up, like that's what you're gonna definitely take there for sure.
Oh boy, yeah, this is. I can imagine there's some thoughts go through his head that he's not having a good time with. It looks like he wants to run over here to deny the max speed.
Yeah, I respect that. I actually really liked how Chris used the Verity Circle that one turn instead of using the Flood. But it still managed to get off the make the creature indestructible for the turn because yeah, that would have been really helpful here. Jeez.
Uh, well, we got triple pile up here, so just all the cars on top of all the cars on top of
Oh man.
even more cars.
Oh, wait, we need a bunch of ambulances here stat. Like this is disastrous.
Well, the ambulance were coming, but each ambulance got caught in its own
Ew.
pile up.
Oh no. There's no one that could save him.
um, Yeah, land off the top here, not good. He's going to draw a card. He's going to play, yeah, Seed of Arma and Cast Guzzler. So 2 rares, but the damage might be done here. Going to be hard to come back from this.
He can draw a card.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
got a
Seed of
Venom
Armor,
Lagak here, which is, something that can be tapped.
I mean, Seed of Armor could be like a clock, but he still has to flood the engines in hand.
Yeah, he was considering casting it before, but he decided not to. He said, I'm gonna use my stock up to draw my board wipe, so I don't need to flood the engines. He knew it. He knew what was gonna
Paying off.
happen.
It paid off really well here. I can take care of another threat.
Yeah, this just must be so exasperating here. So Tony got board wiped, followed up with 3 more creatures, and it's possible that none of them are going to do anything.
Yeah. I will say, Chris doesn't actually have any creatures in hand right now, so he has to
Okay.
be. It's a little scary. Well, I say that, but they ain't just drew it like Ack.
Lagak comes in. Refueler. All right, more lands here for Tony. He must be running out of lands here by now.
Juncture.
Right, he's drawn a Broken Wings, and he has his absolute pick of the litter of what he wants to destroy there.
Yeah, there's what do you even hit here at this point?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the key card is to get rid of. Like
there's like two things that draw cards, two
like
vehicles.
is it the draw engine? Is it the refueler? Is it the the train? Probably not the train, but yeah. He's Tony's taking a moment to stop down here as he should. Playing,
I mean,
he's now revealed all the opponent's lands from Gonti.
there he could also have to flood the engines on his own C2 Varma, but he already used the exhaust, so he can't activate the ability anymore and pump his
Yeah,
other
that
creatures.
checks out. Quite the game we're being treated to here in our finale for week two feature matches.
Yeah, this is quite a nutty
All right,
game.
time to draw some
Holy
more
cow.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is instantly goes into something I'll definitely recall at the end of the league. Like when I think back on the feature matches, this one's gonna come to mind real quick.
I mean, triple board wipe, like it's hard to think of anything more memorable than that one.
Okay, looks like he's going after the circle here. He's because the circle interacts with his creatures, and he wants that to stop. He's weighing his options, but yeah, he took a while. He was pointing his arrow at a couple different things, but
Yeah, it
ultimately
makes
this
sense.
Verity circle is interacting with him and creating a card advantage. So he wants it gone. All right, just more bodies. Yeah, yeah. Time for the train. I'm assuming he has something to handle the Lagak. No, okay.
Uh, no, but he has a bounce off. Yeah, I think he's just trying to get in damage and try to close the game out, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. He's his opponent's at least within striking distance. I have to imagine he's going to block with the Lagak here. And that's 5 damage in. He's at max speed, so his mill plan is now online here.
I if he wants to. Oh, and off of the Tezzeret's ambition.
Yeah, yeah. That's why he was waiting to cast it. You see, I,
Oh, the big brain play.
I mean, we're at 17 cards in deck versus 12 cards in deck here. So
He's becoming a real win con now.
yeah, Chris
If
has
you can't
12
close the
cards
game
and
with
Tony
damage.
has 17. Oh, Extinction Event comes off the top. He's got his own board wipe.
Oh, interesting.
If unfortunately, Chris's board is split 50-50 between odd and even costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a little, too late situation here. Just that overflow of lands at the beginning of the game set him back quite a bit. Like, yes, he was able to use the Beast Rider a few times, but he was not able to get things on board and have them stick thanks to all the board wipes. So,
Yeah, I mean, the life totals are the same, so like maybe just a little more extra firepower in the early
all
game
right,
might have turned the
board
tide.
wipe number 4 of this game.
Oh, and this one's looking a little less exciting.
Yeah, no, this is it's not a spectacular pileup. It's an unspectacular unpileup.
Extinction.
Yeah, it's just a couple things are dying, but a couple things are living. It is unspectacular. Seems like based on cards being put at the bottom of his deck from other effects, Tony now knows the entirety of his deck and the order that it's in.
Hmm.
It was from all the Beast Rider activations. Yeah, he sees there's not really any way out of
Yeah,
this. If he's
tough to
not going
get
to die
past.
by damage, he'll die by mill. So very very fun and instant classic match here on week 2 of Aetherdrift League. So congratulations to Chris on getting the victory here, and thanks for watching. We'll see everybody next week.